I used to get migraines on a regular basis, and I don't get them anymore. And I'm going to share with you why. It costs nothing. The things that I did cost absolutely nothing. But I'm going to share with you some of the research, different things that are out there on what you can do to overcome migraines. Now, you may not struggle with them, but you might meet someone someday that does, and so you could also help them out. Hey everybody, Chad Kreuzer here with Health and Homestead. If you end up liking this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, hit the like button. Now, migraines. It turns out that about 12% of people struggle with migraines. These are these terrible headaches. Some of them come with something called auras. Now, auras can be like a flashing light, or for me, it's like a slinky, this thing that looks like a shining slinky that becomes a blind spot. And I would get that before I would get the migraine, and I know, oh no, the migraine is coming. So what can we do about it? Now, I'm going to actually go in reverse order from what I think is the most important. We're going to start with 2 remedies that if you already have the migraines, what can you do? But I want to share with you what you can do to, in most cases, probably, hopefully, mostly eradicate them, or like in my situation, 100% eradicate them. I want to begin by sharing with you a natural remedy that's been compared head to head with standard migraine medication and been shown to be basically just as good without all the crazy side effects. So the common medication that was used in this study is called Imitrex or sumatriptan. And the problem with this is that it might work for some people, it doesn't work for everybody, but for several people, they're going to be struggling with side effects of the drug. So not only do you struggle with the terrible effects of migraines, which it can be splitting headaches, vomiting, like I said, you can have these auras, but you might be having some of these other side effects. Side effects for sumatriptan are things like mild headaches, not a migraine, pain or chest tightness, pressure or heavy feeling in any part of the body, weakness, feeling hot or cold, dizziness, spinning sensation, drowsiness, nausea, vomiting, drooling, unusual taste in your mouth after using nasal spray, and on and on. And so they actually compared ginger versus sumatriptan for migraines in a double-blind randomized controlled trial. Researchers compared the efficacy of ginger to the migraine medication sumatriptan. And what did they find? 100 people who had migraines without auras were randomly given either ginger or sumatriptan. Within 2 hours, both groups saw a significant decrease in migraine pain. The benefit in both groups was statistically similar. So once again, you can either buy a medication that may have all kinds of side effects that's not completely natural, or you can use something as simple as ginger. Now, once again, ginger is a remedy. It's not a cure for the migraines. There's a cause for your migraines. And so you want to actually figure that out. So we're talking about what I would consider some of the least important things first, how to deal with them. But instead, you want to actually learn to live a lifestyle that hopefully will stop your body from actually causing the migraines. And so the next thing that we're going to look at is green light therapy. Here's research that actually is looking at the effect of having a green light that actually you have it pointed toward you, and just sitting in front of this green light for some time can actually lower the chances that you're going to have a migraine. Here's the research here in this particular journal on the evaluation of green light exposure on headache frequency and quality of life in migraine patients, a preliminary one-way crossover clinical trial. So in this study, they would cross over from white light therapy to green light therapy to see if there was any distinction, and white light therapy did not have nearly the benefit that this green light therapy had. And so it actually lowered the amount of migraines by 50% to even significantly more in certain cases. So once again, I don't think this is the ultimate answer to the question. You say, Chad, but you said this would be free. It is true. Everything else in this, as far as the research goes, is free, other than the fact that you have to buy food to eat on a regular basis. That's going to be things we're going to look at later on. But I'll have a link down in the description, an affiliate link, if you have any interest in checking out the green light therapy. Hey, I mean, over the course of a lifetime, for people who struggle with, 50% of the days in a month getting migraines, if this even knocked it down halfway, that would be a phenomenal benefit to some. In some people, it knocks it down significantly further. So something to look into. Now, number 5, we're going backwards from number 7. Number 5 is you do want to get exercise. Exercise is a good thing because exercise lowers stress levels, it lowers levels of tension. Research shows that over and over. But what can actually happen is if you exercise too vigorously close to the next mealtime. So let's say you have breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're going to eat lunch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you end up exercising vigorously at noon, you might be one of the people, not everybody, but some people actually find that vigorous exercise close to lunchtime or close to the next meal, I should say, could actually trigger a migraine. So exercise is beneficial, but don't do it too vigorously, too close to mealtime. That's number 5. Let's move on to number 4. Now I want to move into some of the actual causes that could actually be making your body produce migraines is having an irregular eating schedule. By eating at random times, the body may end up struggling with blood sugar issues, and this may be something that is a physiological stressor to your body. So if you're eating breakfast at 8 o'clock and you normally eat your lunch at 1 o'clock, and then one day you eat breakfast at 9 and you don't eat lunch until 3, these kind of things can actually trigger these problems. They can cause physiological stress to your body that may make you more prone to having migraines. So you want to actually try to have a consistent schedule that you eat at given times during the day, and your body will begin to actually, you'll find that you get totally used to those times. Your body will tell you it's time to eat. So get on that schedule and you'll be less likely to actually get migraines. But let's move on to our next one. Number 3 is a regular sleeping schedule. Some people will find that just a simple change in the time of their sleeping or waking can actually trigger a migraine headache. For instance, I was talking with a man who he would all week he'd wake up like at 4 in the morning for work, and then on Saturday he would actually sleep in like many people like to do on the weekends, and every single Saturday he would get a migraine. You see, this change in sleep schedule can actually cause you to get migraines for those of you who are susceptible. Not for everybody, but once again, for those who are susceptible. And so if you're that person, you want to learn to live a consistent, regimented life. Like go to bed at the same time during the week, wake up at the same time during the week, and do the same thing on the weekend. There's actually multiple physiological benefits to doing that, and there's negative consequences. Even if you don't struggle with migraines, there can actually be other health effects by changing your schedule just on the weekend. So especially though if you have migraines, because these are debilitating, learn to get on a regular sleep schedule. Mixing things together may have a synergistic effect. These last 2 actually to me are the most important. The beginning ones we talked about were just simply remedies, but we want to learn to change our lifestyle so that our body doesn't need to fight the migraines, or we don't need to use, medications or remedies to actually heal the migraine. We just want to avoid them altogether. And these last 2 things, I think, are the very most important things other than sleeping and eating schedule. Is number 2 is that certain foods have been shown to increase people's likelihood of having migraines. Some of these may do it for you while others don't, but by getting them all out of your diet for a time, if you end up getting rid of your migraines, you'll know, hey, wow, it was actually some kind of allergen that was actually causing this problem. And sometimes you can actually start adding back some of the other ones and find out, oh, there it is. I added back blank, and now I ended up getting migraines again. So what are they? Number 1, one of the common things that may cause migraines is anything that has caffeine in it. That could be tea, coffee, whatever it is. You say, Chad, but there's all kinds of antioxidants in these things. Sure there are, but caffeine can actually drop the blood flow to your brain by 27 to 40%, and that fluctuation of blood flow may actually be detrimental in causing things like migraines. So if you suffer with them, it would be simply, you can get all your antioxidants from other foods. Don't worry about that. Eat other plant foods, you'll be good to go. But things like caffeine can potentially trigger migraines. Number 2, chocolate. Chocolate's super tasty. Most people love the taste of chocolate, but people find that that might be one of the triggers for them also, so avoiding chocolate. Number 3, research actually shows things like meat, cheese, fish and eggs have also been shown to potentially increase the chances for migraines. So getting these things out of your diet may actually help you. And hey, I'm not telling anybody what they have to do. I'm just sharing with you what the research is out there today. Another thing that has been shown to potentially trigger this is yeast extract, and then also things like preservatives, MSG, aspartame, and then there's all kinds of various preservatives that may actually be triggering the migraine. So once again, a migraine is your body telling you something is wrong. You're doing something incorrectly. You're basically warring against your own body. And if you can learn to work with your body will stop responding with things like migraines. And so using these different things now, to get away from preservatives is very, very difficult if you're eating almost any packaged food. So once you get closer to what's called a whole food diet, where things are packaged the way they were designed, not by the corporations, but by the designer, right? By getting back to the way God made them, which are simple foods like fruits, grains, nuts, seeds, these kind of things. And obviously, grains you need to cook, but there are certain grains that can make people more likely to have a migraine. They may cause it for you, they may not. And that's why doing something like an elimination challenge diet can help you discover if various food substances are actually causing your migraines. The way that works is what you do is you avoid all the things that are potential allergens or things that might cause trouble for you. You avoid them for a time. If the migraines go away, I mean, number one, you rejoice like crazy. This is incredible. My splitting headaches are gone. I don't struggle with this anymore. But then you can begin adding one by one many of these things back. Some of them are better to just leave out altogether. But you can begin by adding one of these back at a time. And then you wait like 3 to 5 days between each adding back of a new food. And let's say you add back a certain food. Like, strangely enough, bananas. Bananas are a fantastic food. There's nothing wrong with bananas in themselves. I mean, they're not super high in antioxidants, but they're fine to eat. They are not a weight gain food. Some of the skinniest people in the world eat like 30 of them a day, which, by the way, I don't suggest you do, but it just shows that you don't get fat from bananas. That's ridiculous. But they're also one of the foods that is more likely to cause people to have migraines. So let's say you go without bananas and the various foods we're going to talk about, and then you add back bananas after your migraines are totally gone, and nothing happens. And then you add back, let's say, one of the other foods that we just mentioned here, and you add it back, and some of the foods we're going to talk about, and then you get a headache. Well, then you take that out of your diet, and you're able to eat some of the other foods that we're going to talk about. So this is extremely important to find the things, and I'm going to have a video coming up on the Elimination Challenge diet. I've compiled I think kind of like a master list of foods that many of them are not actually bad. They're actually good foods. They're just more prone to causing allergies to certain people. And so an elimination challenge diet is, once again, you take them all out of your diet for a while, see if your gut issues or your depression, anxiety, your stress issues go away, or in this case, migraines, if they go away, and then once that happens, you do that for like a month or so, and then you add back one at a time, and you see if your symptoms, your health problems begin to resurface. So I'll do a future video on that so that you can also get a hold of the whole list that I've compiled on this elimination challenge diet. You can add the foods back, and then you don't necessarily have to be without all kinds of foods. It might just be a few things that you had no idea were triggering it. Now, right along with this, I'm going to tell you now what I did to actually get rid of it. For me, I went on, and research now shows, this research was done from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and you can actually go read the study in the Journal of Headache and Pain that was headed out by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And what they did was an elimination diet with a total plant base, that means no animal products, and also a low-fat diet. And it significantly lowered the amount of migraines that people had. Now, interestingly enough, I went on this diet personally, and it 100% eliminated all of my migraines. I simply just don't get them anymore, so I don't even worry about it anymore. So I've learned to live a way that just doesn't cause my body to have migraines anymore. So look at some of the things that they actually say to avoid in this elimination diet. So these are things like caffeine, I already mentioned that, so those could be soda, also dairy products, meat, eggs, alcohol, and then you may temporarily want to give up things like wheat, nuts, tomatoes, onions, citrus fruit, corn, apples, and bananas. Some of the things that are shown not to cause trouble to migraines are things like brown rice, cooked yellow vegetables, cooked green vegetables, cooked or dried non-citrus fruits are fine, and then cooked orange vegetables. Those could be carrots and sweet potatoes, which are phenomenal for you, and simply only drinking water. And you might be thinking about, hey, some of those things like, man, I don't want to go without wheat or citrus or this or that or whatever. But listen, what if you go without them temporarily, and what if your migraines go away? And then let's say over time, you add back the wheat, because only 6% of people actually struggle with wheat or gluten. 94% of people do perfectly fine with gluten. But if you're one of the 6% that struggles with it, and it might be causing you to have migraines, well then getting it out of your diet could change your whole future, right? And so, but that's why it's an elimination challenge diet, because you do it temporarily, you add it back in later. So if you get rid of your migraines or significantly reduce them, and then let's say a month later, you add one of these things back like wheat, and nothing happens. Nothing bad happens. And so then you rejoice. You're like, oh, well, it's not wheat. I can continue eating wheat. And then you maybe wait 5 days, and then you add back citrus. And if nothing happens, well, there you go. You're fine there too. But let's say you then add back, bananas, and you do get a headache, and you realize, okay, maybe I have to live without bananas. Now, some people actually suggest that then you wait 6 months again without eating bananas, and then try them again 6 months later. And for some people, they'll find that their body actually heals from this allergen or this allergy type problem. And so that might work for you. So try it out for yourself. If you struggle with this, the good thing is you can always share this with somebody that does struggle with migraines. Share this with a friend, or maybe you found something that works for you. Give some comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, but this could change your whole life. It has fully changed my life. I love it. I love the fact of being on a low-fat, plant-based diet, the only diet that's been proven to reverse heart disease, the only diet that's been proven to do that. And so it's just changed my life. It gave me more energy than I had even growing up as a kid, and I'm 40 years old now. And so it's literally been life-changing for me. So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, the bell notifications, hit the like button. God bless and have a fantastic day. And watch for the future video on the Elimination Challenge diet that's much bigger than this few things we just looked at.